Hi, first grade. Okay, I'm going to turn my volume up so I don't have to yell. All right, so happy Monday. This is our first read aloud for online learning. I hope that you guys were able to get on to Google Classroom okay, and that you are able to kind of maneuver everything. Always let me know if you have any questions, okay? All right, so today we are going to be working on the I can statement of I can identify the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. So first grade, we know we have done this before, so hopefully you can show your parents or your siblings the things you know about identifying the important parts of our story, okay? The story I'm going to read today is The Foolish Tortoise, and I do realize that some of the words are backwards on the video, but that's just going to be the way it is, okay? And this story is by Carle. And when I look at this book, I see that a tortoise might be a word I'm not really familiar with, but it looks a lot like a turtle. So I know a tortoise is an animal that's like a turtle. And then I see that word foolish, and I think of the word foolish, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't be a fool, right? Sometimes when I say don't be a fool, that means like don't be silly or make silly decisions or maybe do something you're not supposed to. So we know this story is going to be about a turtle who maybe doesn't think through all of their decisions. All right. My favorite are the pretty pictures. That's why I love Carle. He also writes that story, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which we've read this year too. All right. The Foolish Tortoise. A tortoise, tired of being slow, impatient to get up and go. I know turtles are pretty slow, so tortoises must be pretty slow too. Impatient, that probably, oh gosh, dropped my phone, sorry guys. Impatient, that probably means if someone's patient, they can wait a while. They don't need people helping them out all the time. So impatient probably means that he's like raring to go. He took off his large and heavy shell and left it lying where it fell. Hooray, he cried. Now I've been freed. I'll see the world at double speed. I wonder if it's smart for a tortoise to take off his shell and go without it. Let's see. Though faster, he was not express, and his protection was far less. So when he heard a hornet's drone, the tortoise crept beneath a stone. There he is right down here. A hungry bird came swooping past. He looked so fierce and he flew so fast. The tortoise hid behind some trees, and he felt quite weak behind the knees. Oh, I know, like when I go to the doctor and I have to get a shot or something, I always feel weak behind my knees because I feel nervous or scared. I wonder if that's how he's feeling too. I don't feel safe. There's too much risk. If only I could be more brisk. Brisk, that's a new word that I don't hear often. If you're with someone, and if you're not, that's okay too. I want you to tell them what you think that word brisk might mean. If you're by yourself like I am, just think about it in your head. I'm going to read the sentence one more time. I don't feel safe. There's too much risk. If only I could be more brisk. What do you think that word means? Good. He headed for the riverbed. A fish swam up. The tortoise fled. So we heard that word brisk, and then he fled. So if he wanted to be more brisk, that means he wants to be a little bit quicker. Along his way, our hero went and almost had an accident. A snake with open jaws slid near, and the tortoise backed away in fear. A hare, a hound, a horse raced by. So rapidly they seemed to fly. The tortoise gasped. He sat goggle-eyed. I'll never be that quick, he sighed. Oh, these are three very fast animals. It seems kind of silly for a tortoise to be comparing himself to a big old horse and a hare, a hound, just like a dog. He wandered on, the sun rose high. I wish I had more shade, he cried. A sudden thunderstorm swept in and soaked the tortoise to the skin. I wonder if he would have had his shell on, if he wouldn't be so worried about the sun shining down. Because isn't that how they can like go back into their shell? The wind rose up, and soon the breeze was bending branches in the trees. The tortoise shivered. Now I'm cold. I wish I hadn't been so bold. We thought he was being brave, and now he's like, I really wish I wouldn't have done this. I think I've lost the urge to roam. I think it's time that I went home. Without my shell, I don't feel right. So when his shell came into sight, you think he's just going to kick it away? He climbed back in and he said goodnight. There he is, sleeping soundly. Our beautiful pictures again. All right, that was our story, The Foolish Tortoise, which is backwards for you guys, but that's okay. So what you guys are going to do today is think back through this story and identify what happens, like that main big important thing that happens at the beginning, the main important thing that happens in the middle, and the main thing that happens at the end. So it's really obvious if we think about what happens at the beginning of our story and what happens at the end. The middle is where there's all these different things that happen. So that's where you guys, as the listeners and readers, can decide what you think is the most important part in the middle of our story. You can always rewind the video and go back and look through the story, okay? So what you're gonna do next is you're gonna take a piece of paper. I'm gonna show you guys on just a whiteboard I have. It's a very dirty whiteboard. And you're gonna take a pencil, a marker if you have it, and you are going to create a chart, okay? So I'm just gonna draw 3 equal parts, kind of equal, okay? And with this, you can fold the paper if you'd like, if that would make it a little bit easier. And I'm just gonna write the word, or the letter, I'm sorry, B, and then M, and E. And we know that this represents beginning, middle, and end. And you're gonna take some time to draw your pictures. And you can draw with a pencil, you can draw with a pen. I always recommend that we draw first with a pencil and then we color in with our crayons or our color pencils or our markers after. And then that way we know our pictures have always really good detail and that anyone looking at our pictures knows what we were trying to draw, okay? So when you're finished with this, I want you to do your best to represent each picture with a sentence. And on the form, you'll just type your sentence in right there. You can have some help if you would like typing in that sentence, okay? When you're finished, just like in school, we then take a break and we go to our own books and we read our own stories. And we practice that same skill, but with our own stories, a little bit less. So I want you to pick a book that you have at home. And then as soon as you're finished reading it and looking through that story, then you can tell someone in the house the beginning, middle, and end. Okay, you don't have to do the picture or the sentence or anything like that with that one. You're just going to tell someone, okay? And remember that when we are reading a book, it's okay if we don't know every word because we know how to read our pictures. We know how to go back and retell. So it's okay if we don't know all the words, okay? All right. And then when you're done, don't forget about iReady Reading, Epic that you can get on, Storyline online, all those things to listen to more stories to practice our beginning, middle, and end skill. All right. Good luck. I'll see you guys later.